I'm envisioning when we finally see each other in person and we do like a physique shot together in the gym.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Road to the Meet. I'm here with my boy Dom, and
What's up, guys?
we are 10 weeks out from the meet. I guess it's your meet. You say that every week like I have a meet. I really want to meet. Like low key, like I really do want to meet because
Have you looked for any meets that are going to be happening in your area?
yeah, so there are a couple of meets like within like a week or two. So you're kind of in the middle of like a period where there's like meets on either end. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that there's just something that I'm missing, like I'm just not looking in the right place, um, and maybe something can pop up during around that time. But if I would do a meet, it would be a week before yours or a week after yours. So that kind of sucks. It's like we're right there, but we're not all the
Yeah.
way there. So
I don't think that's the end of the world. We could make that work
yeah,
with the videos and everything too.
yeah.
So
I mean, if worst comes to worst, I mean, we'll just do it. We gotta take that leap
yeah.
eventually anyway. So anyway, we've
Right.
got an action-packed episode for you, at least on my end. Dom is just finished his deload week. Am I right?
Yep. When this is up, I'll be done with my deload week.
So there you go. He's just finished his deload week. Are you feeling some of that fatigue melt off you, bro?
I feel every time I get into a deload week, I feel way worse just because like once you stop training at that level of like volume and intensity, like even like lighter weights start to feel like crap, I feel. I don't know if that's just me.
Maybe. I mean, if
Yeah.
anything, this is good data to know, and like for when you peak for meets, because if you
Yeah.
feel significantly worse, the more volume you pull back, maybe you kind of have to train into the meet, which is like something
Yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
of rare, but not unheard of, in my opinion. So, I just finished my heaviest week of the block. And as we alluded to last week, I got some footage for you guys finally. I'm not holding out anymore. I actually do have clips. So we're gonna take a look at that this episode. And I guess I'll just jump right into it, right? So the first day of the week, I um, had two, I don't know if you call them tests, but they were like heavy. I had a heavy squat bench session. So we're talking about the squats really quick. First, on the squats, I wanted to do a heavy set of five at pretty much max RPE, but I actually didn't end up getting that close to max RPE, unfortunately, because I guess for me, it's like squats. I don't know what it is, man, but like ever since I got like injured, like the very first time, like 2018. I don't know why. It's just squats kind of give me a little bit of like anxiety and like I've never had bar fear about anything except for squats. So unfortunately, your boy played it a little too safe in my opinion. So that isn't to say we didn't set PRs because we did. I hit 315, three plates for 5 reps at what I think is probably an RPE 8, which, is kind of a sufficient end of the block anyway. But I also bumped it because I really wanted to do a max set of 5. So I bumped it by 10 pounds. I did 325 pounds. But after rep 3, I kind of got a little psyched out and I just racked it, much to the dismay of both myself and my spotters at the time. So that was kind of an L. I definitely had it for 5, looking back at the footage and kind of reassessing my brain at that time. So yeah, major L there. But we moved on to bench next, and bench was different. I actually did take that to failure, but unfortunately, I did not get 5 on either set, which was a real shame. I probably should have played that one a little bit more safe, uh, because I went to failure. I didn't go to like failure on the first attempt, which is 295 pounds. But I mean, you guys will see. I'll put a clip up here. After rep four, I knew I was not gonna get a fifth one because it moved really, 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 really slow. And like I'm good enough at benching at this point where I can kind of tell RPE. Like it's like the one lift where
Right.
I'm solid on RPE for. But I don't know what I was thinking. Um, I decided to throw on an extra chip. So I put 300 pounds on the bar because people were telling me like, bro, if they're not going to go to failure today, then why are you even calling spotters as if this is why you don't listen to your training partners at all or get smarter ones. So I put a chip on, so a 300, and I got that for three, which is still a pretty damn big PR. Um, actually, is it? Hold on. Yes, it is. 300 was my double before. So
Nice.
It was a pretty big PR, 300 for three. I'm not complaining about that bench at all. But I did go to failure. I tried to go for the fourth rep and I couldn't move it, and I had to get help. So that was the first day. Now, I may or may not have made a mistake here by testing my deadlift the very next day after all of this was going on. But I did, and also pulled some good PRs. Okay, let me just be clear. Like I already said this, but I just want to reiterate. I PR'd on all throughout this week. You know, every lift was a PR. It's just that they still, despite them being PRs, they weren't exactly where I wanted them to be. You know, you ever do that? You ever PR and you're like, well, I wanted it to be like 10 pounds heavier, but
Yep.
it's like you can't be mad, but you're not like ecstatic.
Satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that is to say, I did 365 pounds for a triple, and guys, this is a max triple. I mean, I do not think I could have budged that bar off the ground another time. Um, but I thought maybe this is a 9.5. Like, okay, this is a max triple, but perhaps I could go a little heavier and still hit a max triple. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
instead of putting a chip though, which I should have done, I put 10 pounds. So it's 375. I pulled that for two. I went to pull it for a third time, and I got like just below the knees, and I knew that I wasn't gonna finish this rep, at least not without cheating. So I was like, and I let it go. So three,
So you try to so you try to hit 375 right after 365.
yes, I did. I did try.
So do you think you could have hit 375 for 3 if you did it fresh?
It's possible. It's tough to say. You know, the deadlift is a tough lift for me. I feel like, for me at least, if I'm not really strong off the floor, so if I don't rip it off the floor, I'm like not gonna finish. So that for that 375, you know, because it moved so slow off the floor, I know I was super fatigued, but I don't feel like any of those reps really moved. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's possible that if I was like fresh, um, then I might have been able to pull 375 for three, but I think it's kind of unlikely, to be honest. I think maybe if I was fresh, I would pull 370, but 375, just a little extra 5 pounds. I don't know.
So I guess with those 3 lifts based on like how your last week of your block went, what do you think your like estimated 1 rep maxes would be?
Okay, so the squat I'm feeling really, really confident about, despite, you know, wussing out. Because I also didn't mention there was one more day where I hit a max set of seven on squats, and I did 305 pounds just because I was going to go 315, but I had accumulated so much fatigue up until that point that I was like, okay, I gotta kind of pull it back just a little bit. So I put 305 on the bar. I hit it for seven, and honestly, perhaps could have squeezed out one more, maybe. It would have been an absolute grinder, but it might have been there. So we'll take 305 for seven. That gave me a lot of confidence because I told myself I was not gonna wuss out this time. Okay, I was gonna take this as far as I could, or as far as I was supposed to, because I was supposed to do sevens. So that gave me a bit more confidence going into the rest of this week. And I'm gonna say that the squat's feeling really good. And I'm also gonna say that I think my training max or my estimated max at this point in time has gone up. So previously we mentioned the estimated max was about 375 pounds for me. I think I think we're up to 390 pounds. I think that's where I'm going to put my estimated water max at this point in time. I definitely think, based on how 365 moved in June or July, and how all my squats seem to be clicking when I actually, go for it, and the formulas. So all three things. I think that I definitely have 385, and I think I also probably have 390. So I'm gonna put my estimated squat
Nice.
at 390.
Cool.
So for the bench took a hit. Um, to be honest, that 335 bench may not have been the most legitimate bench. I mean, it was legit, but the pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I'm still good for 330, but I'm also down. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I'm actually 258 pounds right now.
Nice.
So that would put me down about 14 pounds. And
Yeah. That's significant.
yeah, I'm feeling it, like for sure. The bench definitely is feeling it. And if I could bench first, like if I was like going on like a regular test week and the bench was the first lift that I was going to do, then maybe 335 would still be there. But I just have a feeling, because I'm squatting and benching and squatting first and benching second, that I'm going to have to shave about 5 pounds off of that.
Hmm.
So then we come to the deadlift. Disappointing deadlift. Uh, my previous max is 405 pounds. Under the right circumstances, I might still be able to hit that. But the deadlift is one of those lifts where I'm really, really bad at guessing with this lift, because
Right.
I don't know what it is about the deadlift that I just have such a big trouble with. Maybe it's leverage, maybe it's something else, but I just don't know. Um, the formulas put me at 395 pounds, which is a 10-pound decrease, which is, again, major L. Uh, but I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I've gotten that much weaker on the deadlift.
Yeah.
So I could leave it, or I could, listen to the formulas and drop it. I'll probably just play it safe and drop it to 395 pounds at this point, which again sucks. But the funny thing about that is that my estimated total is still the same, because I lost 5 on the bench and 10 on the deadlift, but I gained 15 on the squat. So
Yeah.
still
So there
thinking,
you go.
what is that, 1105? I think that is. Um, I believe
I think it's 11:15. I had it as from last
1115.
time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So still the same. So I guess it all evens out. What
Right.
about you, Dom? What is your estimated total, given the fact that you
Yeah.
finished your
So
heaviest week last week?
yeah, so I finished my heaviest week and I'm on a deload this week with some like moderately heavy singles at RPE 6. So I think I have like a pretty good estimation. Obviously, nothing's perfect. But considering I hit 325 pounds for 4 on squats, that was supposed to be at RPE 9, but it's probably more like an 8. I'm going to give myself 365 pounds as my estimated one rep max for squat. I've also hit 335 for a single this week really easily. So I think 365 is pretty fair. And then for bench press, I hit a single this week at 205 and it was pretty quick. Like I feel like it was an RP like 6 or 7. So I'm going to give myself at least 225 and I'm still working through the shoulder as everyone knows. So my shoulder's been kind of achy the last like week since I've been widening my grip back out and trying to tweak my bench form. But I'm still going through physical therapy and it's not hurting enough to like stop me from training. So I'm just gonna keep working through it.
That's good.
And then yeah, and then for deadlifts, I hit 405 for 4, which is like a big rep PR for me. I showed that in the last episode, and that was probably RPE like 8 to 9 area. It's kind of hard to say, probably closer to 9. And so I'm gonna give myself 455 as my estimated one rep max right now. I
Nice.
hit a 400. I hit a 415-pound single this week. It moved slower than I wanted it to, but it's still doable. Um, So my total I have at 1,045 pounds. So still a little bit behind you, but I'm trying to catch up,
Well,
trying to make it more of a competition.
my my bench is carrying hard, and it's only gonna go down from here. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll see what I got. Like we mentioned in that first estimated video, like we'll see what happens when your shoulder gets healthy again. Because if you can get back to
Yeah.
265, like I mean, there's your gap right there.
If I can get to 265 with a pause for the meet, like that would be like I'd be sky high about that. Like that'd be amazing because I haven't been able to hit 265 touch and go in my life. But at the same time, like I've been tweaking my bench form and it's feeling like pretty solid. One thing I wanted to note for this episode is that I emailed like the head for the meet, the like director or
Hmm.
whatever, and he said the bars that I'd be lifting on, and the deadlift bar is specifically a deadlift bar, so I think it has a decent bit of whip. Um, so I was gonna ask you, like, I think that gives me a pretty big advantage in terms of deadlifts because I'm assuming you're gonna probably you might not be doing this in a meet setting, and even if you are, it might be on a very stiff
Yeah.
bar. So, what do you think about like me being able to use a deadlift bar? Do you think like that should be legal, or do you think I should like knock off like 20 pounds from my deadlift, um, or something like that to even it out?
Okay, so I feel like there's two questions you're asking. Number one is for you specifically, and number two is for powerlifting in general, at least.
Right.
So for you specifically, I'm okay with you counting your PR despite it being on a deadlift bar because I will be at the very least two weight classes above you. So I feel like it again, it kind of evens, we're evening the playing field a little bit. So because I have
Mhm.
more mass, like if again, have did we decide whether we're doing absolute totals or we're doing formulas for like the head to head?
I wanted to do an absolute total,
Okay. So
and I feel like it with a deadlift bar it makes it somewhat even.
yeah,
Then
so if we're doing absolute totals, then I think it's perfectly fine that you can go ahead and use a deadlift
cool.
bar. You're gonna have to tell me how that's like also, because I've
Yeah.
actually never pulled on a deadlift
I
bar
mean,
in my life.
I've never used the specific bar that the director like sent me, but um, like so I don't know if it has more whip than like other deadlift bars or less whip. But like I noticed that when I used the deadlift bar at my other gym, it felt like a lot easier to get like in position at the bottom, and it just like felt all around just better. But obviously, I've only used a deadlift bar once in my life, so I don't. And I think I got to train on it consistently for me to really like know the benefits. You know?
All right, guys. So before we end this episode, I just want to do a little bit of a diet check-in with both of us since we both have diet goals as well. It's kind of part of this whole comp. So, like I mentioned earlier, if it made the film, I'm currently 258 pounds, which is pretty cool considering I haven't been in the 50s for a while. Um, so it's nice. I can definitely feel it in the way that I like my clothes fit. So I also can feel it in the gym though. Like I said, my bench is kind of I can definitely start to feel the wear and tear, which is unfortunate because I wasn't expecting it to happen so early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That sucks, man. I just I wonder how much I'm actually gonna lose, bro. It's crazy.
The fact that you have your current estimation though, like your total around like the same as the last time, I think is a good sign.
Yeah, it's possible. And like, who knows? Like, if I lose more weight, I'll probably get better leverages for deads. There's really not much to say. It's not really like too much update I can give. Um, just the fact that I am losing. I can kind of feel it in the gym a little bit, but my recovery is still fine. Um, I'm not like hungry when I train. I do have I time my meals at least kind of appropriately around my gym time. So
Yeah, smart.
yeah, so I don't really feel hungry, and I don't feel hungry in general, like yet, But it's only been 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
4 weeks, and then 8 weeks, and then 16 weeks, and then all that shit. So
right.
I know that the bulk life is slow and steady, but is there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think in the last episode I talked about how I actually lost weight.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say I'm back up a little bit. I'm getting almost back to where I was at 190. So gonna try to push past that. I'm probably more like 188 right now, but I can get in the 190s like with food and everything throughout the day. So um, shooting for that like low to mid 190 range for the meat, but I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as the lifts are going up. I don't really care, and as long as my physique is looking pretty good, I'm not gaining too much fat, and I'm still, I feel like I'm still gaining some muscle, slowly as it is, like how it is for a natural. But
Yeah.
um, I'm happy with how it's going.
One of these days I'll take my shirt off and we'll see my physique. Although that's like way, way in the distant future.
I'm envisioning when we finally see each other in person and we do like a physique shot together in the gym.
Bro, we're gonna be those guys. Except I'm gonna have flaps. I won't have abs, I'll have flaps. There'll be a 6 pack of flaps right there. Alright, guys, well, that wraps up another episode of Road to the Meet. Next week, we will be going into new training blocks. Yay! So, maybe we'll talk about some transitions there. Um, One last reminder, we are, at the time of this going up, going to be 71 days out. So 10 weeks. It may seem like a long time, but I bet it won't be as long as we kind of think it will be. So, we're getting geared up, we're getting ready, um, and it's going to be exciting. I feel, despite the lifts going not so great, I don't know, I feel confident, I feel strong, I feel motivated. So, I don't know. Maybe that says something about me. You can follow my boy Dom. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description. It's DomDG. He lives in my description box right now. You can also follow him on TikTok at Natty Lifting. He will be the new Natty Prince. Just you wait. You can follow me on Instagram at sxbertooth_. And obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is where this is taking place. You're already here. May as well click the subscribe button. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. And me and Dom will see you next week.
See you guys.
All right.